Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do I have a treat for you today? Now, if this is your first time watching the show, I am your host, Monica Graves. The show is called Get to Know Them, and this is a weekly talk show, podcast, web series where I like to bring on some of my favorite people to inspire you with their amazing stories. So all you have to do is just sit back and relax and enjoy the conversation. And feel free to chime in if you do happen to be watching this live on Facebook. I will get to as many questions as I can, so go ahead and do that if you like. Before I introduce our two fabulous guests today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm wearing. We have an amazing show sponsor. Her name is Brenda Badome, and she is a Canadian clothing designer. And I'm wearing her cozy sweater today because we went from summer weather on Friday here in Burlington, Ontario, to we've got snow flurries today. So you never know what Mother Nature is up to in Canada in the spring. So you got to be ready for everything. Brenda Badome has amazing clothes. If you want to shop from her, you can use the coupon code Get to Know Them, and she will give you 22% off of your order, which is awesome. And then our other show sponsor is actually me. I am a jewelry designer. My business is called Glam Jewels, GLAMJULZ.com, and I do a variety of custom jewelry pieces for women, all walks of life. But the other thing I do is I do a lot of pieces to support local charities. So make sure you check out the pieces that we have done that give back to community, and go ahead and buy something for Mother's Day with a beautiful give back to someone else. And anytime you purchase a piece of jewelry that gives back, we always enclose a card with it so that you can let the person know what the jewelry means and how it's giving back to community. Now, are you guys ready to hear all about our amazing guests today? I am going to pull up the bio right now and read it to you. These two are so awesome. I cannot wait for you to meet Don Arthur and Dave Robichaud. Dave and Don met in April 2010 at my favorite place, Scooter's Roller Palace. Right off, Dave could tell Don was a former competitor like himself, and he soon asked her if he could waltz with her. She was happy waltzing with Dave, and he was a former three-time national champion. Once they had been waltzing for a while, they started working on other dances that they used to compete for fun in their youth. And while waltzing, after all these years, they make the waltz look like a competitive dance, complete with an opening, an extra element, and an ending. Shortly after they met, Dave asked Dawn if she ice skated. She said she could a little. She asked why. He told her that he worked on the first season of the ice skating show Battle of the Blades, which is basically a Dancing with the Stars type of show, but on ice. He also said he could get her on the show if she wanted. Obviously, Dawn agreed, and they were able to work as skating extras on the show and mostly as stand in judges for seasons 2 through 6. A truly exciting experience working with national, world, and Olympic level competitors, medalists, and champions. A few months after they met, Dawn mentioned to Dave that they had met about 20 years previously at the Forum roller rink in Cambridge. Dave said that he did not remember that. Dawn said that she remembered as she asked him to waltz, and he said no. Dave thought about it for a while, and then he remembered. He doesn't remember why he said no, but he was quite embarrassed that he did. These two continue to skate twice a week at Scooters and have worked with various people on their skating skills throughout the years. They even helped out with the Saturday morning Learn to Skate program for a while. They were happy and very honored to be asked to judge a mini club competition for the kids that was held at the rink. They would really enjoy the chance to work with the kids again at some point. Don and Dave are both very sad that scooters will eventually be closing. They are doing their best to make the most of the time that they have left there, and they enjoy skating every Thursday and Sunday night. So I have to tell you guys, I have admired this dynamic duo from afar as I watch them waltz around the rink on Thursday nights, and now I'm happy to call them skater friends. I just love all of their stories, and so will you. So let's not wait another minute. The dynamic duo. Here they
Hey,
are. Yay.
hey.
Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. This is
Oh,
great. And so many people are watching. They're excited to talk to you because honestly, from all of us, we go to scooters, we expect to go around and around the rink and we're trying to remember how to skate and we're doing our thing. And then all of a sudden it's like clear the, I want to say the ice, clear the rink, because we're going to do a waltz now. And you two are just like, I look at you and go, oh my God, it's just amazing and overwhelming. And I think for a lot of people, we didn't even know there was such a thing as waltzing on roller skates or competing on roller skates or any of that stuff. So it's so exciting to have you guys on to sort of share the story of how you even got into this in the first place. But before we go there, we got to go back just a few years because you're both still young. When you were talking about in your youth, you're both still two youngsters. So I want to know, Dave and Don, for each of you, what you wanted to be when you grew up as little kids. Do you remember?
well, for me, I always liked TV. I'd wanted to be a TV cameraman. I thought that was interesting. I kind of liked it, and yeah, that's what I wanted to be. Yeah.
Nice. And how about you, Don?
I wanted to be what every girl wanted to be. I want to be a teacher.
Of course. Yeah. That's so great. It's amazing how, yeah, so many of us, I was like that too. At one point or another, it was like, I'm going to be a teacher and lining up all the dolls and
Okay.
giving them the lesson and all that stuff. So did either of you go in those directions at any point, or was that just sort of
No, I
some,
no, no, I
no,
no.
no, no, interesting. And Dave, I mean, now you actually ended up on the other side of the camera of all the
Well,
things you've done
to
and
to a
done too.
degree, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's so great. So I want to hear the story from the beginning. So I guess starting with Dave,
Okay.
you started roller skating at what age?
Okay. I started skating at 7.
Okay.
By the time I was 8, I was waltzing, and only because there was a well, there wasn't that many boys skating at that time. Like there were some, but there's always more girls than guys. And this older girl who was 12 years old, that I knew, basically said, "You're going to learn how to waltz because I want to waltz." And she was bigger than me, so I didn't have any choice in the matter. So I learned how to waltz when I was 8, kind of against my will. And at 9, I started going to a different rink. I started at the Terrace downtown, as a lot of people did in downtown Toronto. And I went to the Mimicombo, which was in the West End. I went there for a year, and there, when I was 9, I learned how to rhythm skate. And
Oh,
then I came back to the Terrace and continued skating from there.
and what's rhythm skating?
Well, yeah, okay. When you see the groups of us flying around very fast, and
Yeah.
we're all kind of in unison and in sync doing stuff. That's
Yeah.
called rhythm skating.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
That's the term, right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
And then
Yeah.
when well, this is something you and I've not talked about. Shortly after I learned how to rhythm skate, so between 10 and 13, 14 years old, things were different back then. And on long weekends in the summers, they used to block off part of Dundas Square, like a street right off Dundas Square in Toronto, block it off for 72 hours to have a roller skating marathon.
Oh
And we
my
were
God,
skating
heavens.
the entire time, all the way through, all 72 hours, and it was to raise money for muscular dystrophy. So there was a charitable aspect to it. So I would go down at 11 years old. My mom would say, "Oh, be home tonight," because I could never stay over. Well, she didn't want me sleeping out on the street at 11, 12 years old. But the skating continued. There was music all night long, and that's what we did. So for those 3 or 4 years, and I actually met some people down there that I'm still friends with today.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. And how about for you, Dawn? How old were you when you put your first pair of skates on?
I was 18, and
Okay.
a friend of mine said, "I'm going to go to the roller." There was several roller rinks in Hamilton, but she named one. She said, "I'm going to the roller rink tonight. Do you want to come?" I went, "I can't skate." She goes, "Oh, well, I'll help you. You'll learn." I fell so many times. I was banged and bruised, but I kept going every week after that with her.
And what was it about it that kept you coming back?
I liked the
What was it?
movement. I truly
Yeah,
like the movement and the music and stuff. And I had this thirst and this knowledge to learn it all. I wanted to do better. I didn't want to fall all the time and have the cruiser pick me up.
right. Interesting. And for both of you, because you both had experience competitively, and like I said at the beginning, I mean, I don't even think I knew there was competitive roller skating until I met you guys at Scooters. Um, who were your mentors? Like, how did you even find out that you could do that? Did
Well, for me, there was a club, a competitive club at the Terrace at that, like when I was 8, 9 years old, and then
Mm,
at the Mimicombo, they were more serious about it. It was just a bigger thing, and I was exposed to it then. And I had a friend of mine who was the same age as me, and we actually went to the same school, who was competing in freestyle at the time, still doing all the jumps and spins and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
I couldn't jump to save my life, even though he tried to show me. but that's how I learned about it then, right? And I was exposed to it. But I didn't start competing myself until I was about 18. Like I didn't.
Okay.
I just went to sessions and met people and had fun every week. But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't start to get into it till I was about 18.
And Dave, when you decided to get into it, were your parents supportive of that? Like, did you have a supportive family behind you, or how did they feel?
My mom was a little bit indifferent about it. She didn't want me to spend all that money. She says, "Well, it sounds pretty
Okay.
expensive, you know." And I said, "Mom,
Yeah,
it's okay, right?" But they came around. My parents came around, right? Because
they
they
did.
could see, like, I actually have pictures of them in the background at my first provincials, and I could see the looks on their faces, like in the crowd. So like they came around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting. And how about for you, Dawn? How did you go from 18 years old falling on your butt to wanting to compete?
My friends stopped doing it. And so I moved to the rink where all my friends were skating and I started taking group lessons. And it was
Ah,
through group lessons that I found out about the club. So I decided, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I met a person that I could skate with, another guy, and we joined the club and we started taking less private lessons from the coach there.
okay. Wow. And how about for you? Did you have support at home for this, or did your parents think, you know?
Yeah, no, my dad had previously skated his youth at the
Okay.
old Alexander or whatever it was called here in Hamilton. He had skated, so he was behind me. And my mom, well, she was kind of like Dave's mom. That's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But no, they did come and they did watch competitions and stuff.
Great. Wow. How exciting. It's amazing. So, so you guys are both doing your lessons. You're both at different times getting into this competitive sport. How far along did you go in the competitive part of it?
Well, for me, um, I competed at nationals 5 times. I medaled each year, 1 bronze, 1 silver, and 3 gold. So I skated 83, 84, 85, 86. And then I kind of lost interest. I still kept skating, and sometimes I go to practice and do some things, but I didn't want to compete for a while. And then I thought, you know what? I want to come back for 1 more year. And I came back in 91, and I competed my last nationals in 91. That's what I wanted to do. I thought, I want to go, I want to do this. And I skated solo dance. And then that's where I won my last national title. And right after that, then I started teaching roller. And at that same time, I was taking lessons on ice. So I was going back and forth. I'd be teacher one day and student the next. So and switching back and forth. So it was like Monday ice, Tuesday roller, Wednesday ice, Thursday roller, Friday off, and Saturday or Sunday, one or the other. But like I was quite busy.
That's a lot of, I mean, I'm just thinking when I skate 2 days in a row, my legs are like, oh God.
Well,
you guys are still like skating so much. It's amazing.
Well,
strong.
I don't like, I can skate 3 to 4 times a week. I prefer not to, but but I draw the line because at times we had skated 5 times a week, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. I just don't want to. Right. I'll do 3 at the most. 4. Right.
Yeah, that's pushing it. Yeah. And how about for you, Dawn, with competing? How far along did you go with it? What happened in your life with
I didn't go as far as Dave, and my partner had bad timing, so I never had the chance to stand on the podium as much as Dave. So I did up to sophomore. So that's about halfway to what he did.
Yeah, because the divisions are novice, sophomore, junior, senior.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, such an amazing accomplishment, both of you. Like, yeah, it's great. And so tell us the story about the two of you finally coming together after all this time.
Well, when I saw it, I actually remember exactly where I was standing. I was standing at the exit near skate rental, and I saw Dawn come in the rink, and I looked at her. I was just like, oh, like I wasn't impressed, right? I was like, oh, she doesn't look very approachable. I don't know. And then later on that night, I saw her. She was out there waltzing, and I thought, well, okay, yeah, this girl can skate. Like she's obviously done some training. Like I could tell right off.
Yeah.
And then when I finally asked her to waltz, and we were out there, she knew who I was, right? But I had no clue who she was. But she knew that I competed and stuff, right? And I skated very, very differently from her partner, because I'd also have a lot of partnering experience. So when we're out there, like I make it look easy, but I'm doing a lot of little things to try to make my partner feel very confident that they're comfortable to do whatever they need to do. And she wasn't used to that at all.
Actually, Dave, can you talk a little bit about those things you do? Because I found that fascinating. We talked about that last week at the rink. Like how you kind of cue your partner. It's like a little tap, right? Or
okay.
Yeah, I think that's so.
Yeah,
instead of pushing them into a.
Oh my God. Okay. I learned.
Yeah.
I had a very good teacher from my early years of competing, and she taught me a lot. And basically, she said, you want to communicate with your partner, but you want to make it subtle. You don't want anything jerky or anything, because you don't want to throw them off, right? You want to let them know something is coming. You can either say it, or you could squeeze them or squeeze their hand, whatever. So like when I'm waltzing with Dawn, if I want her to do something different, and we've talked about, well, when we're here, we do this, blah, blah, blah. But there are times where I just want to do a straight waltz, and we just do that. But if I want her to do something different, I'll like squeeze her back just a little bit, or I'll squeeze her hand, and I'll move my hand to let her know that, oh, she'll know, oh, I'm going to step forward here and do this other move, right? It's a very subtle thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a low level dance called a 120 waltz, and it's a straightforward dance, but in 2 or 3 places we have to switch sides. Okay, some people when they do that, they're very jerky with it. With me, I don't want to spook her, and I want her to be comfortable, so I move her very gently. And somebody was watching it, said to me, when you do that move, you look like you're handling a China doll. And I'm like, well, I want her to be comfortable to be able to do that and not fuss about it. Know that I'm not going to throw her off. I'm not going to hurt her balance or anything. I want her to be
Right.
to be comfortable. Now, one I'm going to say this quickly. I learned when I was competing with my first partner, Lori. We were skating in an event, and we made it to the finals in this event, and we placed second out of 4, which I was very surprised at. I didn't think we'd do that well. And I talked to one of the judges, or we did, and I said, well, what did you think? And the judge was going on and on about my partner. And I looked at her and I said, well, what about me? And she says, well, I didn't really notice you. And I'm like, why? Why? And she said, the focus should be on the girl. You are just background for the girl. You have to present the girl. So because the focus should be on the girl. If I'm noticing you, then something's wrong. If you're just background, then you're doing your job. And that always stuck with me. So when I'm skating with Dawn doing the waltz, I'm making sure she's as comfortable as she can be. And you see when we do stuff, I'll put her out in front of me and I'll have her do arm movements and this and that. I'm just in the background. I'm just propelling her around a bit, right? Right. I'm just the background. The focus is on her. And that as a partner, that's what you should be doing, making your partner feel comfortable enough that they can do whatever they need to do.
So interesting. And Dawn, how does that make you feel to be sort of the focus of the dancing?
It's
do you like that?
It's very different from my previous experiences. So now I trust him a lot. I don't have to worry. Like with my last skating partner, I was always worried, like, is he going to want me to turn? Because there was no communication that way. Is he going to want me to turn, or is he just going to randomly turn and expect me to know what he's going to do? But with Dave, there's communication, and I feel safe. That's the big thing. You want to feel safe when you're out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. And do you guys still now, will you have a conversation before the waltz and say, hey, why don't we switch things up? Because whenever I see you, it's not like you're always doing the exact same thing. Like there's often, you're very adventurous out there with what you're doing. So.
Well, it depends. Like we've been doing this enough that like if I move her a certain way, she knows what I'll want her to do. Right. Because we've done it so many times. Right. I try not to surprise her, but there are times where I say, well, okay, well, let's do this. And she's, oh, okay. Right. And then we just go and do it.
Nice. So it sounds like it's a really nice collaboration where the two of you are, you're enjoying this, creating it together.
Well, it's a partnership as it should be. I've known other guys that don't communicate with their partner, and they wonder, and they get upset, and it's like, well, did you tell her this? Well, no. Well, you need to let her know what's going on, because you're performing as a team, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, it's it really is, it pairs up with life. Like that's the successful partnership in anything, is the communication, right? So
and especially when you're moving on skates, you don't want to fall. Right?
No.
So it's best to communicate with your partner what you're expecting, so you're both together on the same foot.
Yes, that's right. Do you remember the first song you two waltzed to?
Oh God, no.
No.
No. I have a really great question from Melanie, who skates with me. You've met Melanie before, and she was wondering, is there like a specific song that the two of you love to dance to together, and even individually, are there songs that are kind of like, this is awesome, like if
Well, we have a lot of songs that we like to waltz to together, and for
Yeah.
different reasons. And for me, after like I've been skating a long time, I'm more music motivated than anything. So if the music's not good, then I'm kind of if the music's good, then I'll put a lot into it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just gonna get to that. The waltzing first,
Okay, go
yeah. So for the waltzing, like there are songs that really make me want to go out there and stretch and present and stuff like that. There's a Sam Cooke song called "Bring It On Home to Me," and that song has a lot of beat in it, and it makes me like, it just makes me want to go, like, and
Right.
Our friend Mary Jane,
Yes.
when because she tapes us quite often, she'll follow it behind it and tape, and I can see the difference in myself when that song is playing. I can see me putting a bit more oomph into it. And there's other
Yeah.
songs that are just they're just nice, and there's a flow, and you just you skate very soft, but it's very nice, and you just let the flow go more than a big oomph, right? Like it's
Yeah.
very, very different. And
But actually, Mary Jane just chimed in and said they forget to tell the videographer when they switch up.
No.
yeah,
So if anybody,
but,
Mary Jane follows these two around with her phone. She's an amazing skater, and yeah,
so
she
yeah,
captures it all. And yeah, it's so great to watch.
last week last week, so we waltzed the first song and we just did it our normal stuff. And for the
Yeah.
second song, Dawn says, "Well, why don't we do something different?" I'm like, "Okay, well let's do a Dutch waltz." And that it's a straightforward dance. There's no turning, but the pattern is very different
Yeah.
than the regular waltz. And we were like in out in out. Mary, she had no idea where we were going, and like, yes, we should have told her, but well, that's our
Um,
fault. But we like switching it up and doing a different dance every once in a while, and
yeah.
it's fun, and it keeps everything fresh.
Good. And same for you, Dawn. Is there a waltz song that really gets you like fired up? Song you prefer?
One that I prefer. I wouldn't say prefer exactly, but I do like. There's a Burton Cummings one that they'll play that I
Oh,
do like. Life in the Bloodstream. I do
oh,
like
nice.
Yeah,
because it's
Yeah,
kind of jazzy. It's like out there.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
slow and yeah.
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 Oh, so great. So when Mary Jane takes the video of you guys, do you always post it somewhere, or do you use it for anything that people could watch it and,
I think I've
you know?
only posted it once
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We keep
We
them,
can't,
of course.
and she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But we don't. Yeah, I
Yeah, well, if it's okay with you guys, I would love to post one just to show people,
okay. Yeah, yeah. We
because
can.
it's so inspiring.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
We'll send you one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that's for waltzing, but
Hmm.
for rhythm skating, for songs, like I said, like
Yes.
we're all in a train. There's a few songs that I like where I just want to go like warp 8, and I just want to
Yeah.
fly there, and it's songs, and they're okay. Yes, I'm old, right? But there's songs more from the 70s, because when I skated then, like, it was such a special time for me, and
Yes.
skating on those marathons like was so much fun. One of my favorite songs to skate to, and I don't think many people would know this song. It's a song, and they play it on Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's called "Shack Up." I, I, that particular song, I just, when I hear it, I just go, right. I love it.
Oh,
I love it. And he also played a James Brown song that I hadn't heard for a long time that I loved as well. A song called "Doing It Till Death." A lot of people were out skating that. That's a good old time roller skating song. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If they play them again, I'll point those out to you and I'll say, watch all the people
Okay.
go. Watch them go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love, yeah, that's great. And how about for you, Dawn? What are your faves?
I I don't really have any particular faves that I can think of off the top of my head. I've been trying to think of it since last night, but
Yeah.
I do like Shack Up, and I do like the other one that Dave said. Like I like a lot of funk. Like I'm old like him. I like the old stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's really great. It's so funny too that when they had that disco night, I emceed and it was great because it was all disco, but they played one song was September Cool in the Gang, and it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
kind of a remix. And just for a second, I wanted to say to the DJ, you don't have to do anything to the song. Don't remix it. It's perfect the way it
Yeah.
is. But like these are, yeah. I love how music it's like a time machine. It takes us back to, a memory, a moment. And I think that's why we get so attached to this music too. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
for Cool and the Gang, my favorite song from them from years
Yeah.
ago is a song
Uh-huh.
called Jungle Boogie.
Oh, I love that song.
That I love skating to that song. And that brings me back to 14, 15 years old skating at Scarborough Roller
Yeah.
Palace. You know,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So this is great because I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about roller skating and mental health, because as we're talking about music and how, it is like a time machine, it takes you back. And going to scooters, I mean, it's kind of like the outside world is out there, and then we walk into this beautiful portal, and it's like all that stuff gets left behind. Your foot goes onto the rink, and all of a sudden you're in that flow, beautiful meditative flow. And there are so many people struggling, especially since COVID, with mental health, kids with social anxiety disorders, all of these things. To me, scooters is like this beautiful haven where phones go away, people talk. Also, having come back into roller skating after all these years, when I left, there was some segregation at the rink. There were like the cool people who skated well, and if you got in their way, they'd elbow you off. And so there was a little bit of like an intimidation factor. But coming back into it now, you guys, you're all the people I've met, you're all the cool kids, and you're all so nice, and you're like, hey, where'd you get your skates? Let me talk to you about that. Let me tell you about the history of this. Let me show you how this moves. Like you're so genuine and loving and wanting to help, and it's honestly like such a beautiful place to be. So I just wondered what the two of you kind of thought about roller skating and mental health, and how it can heal people.
Well,
And has it done that for you? Was there anything in your life where it's kind of saved you,
I don't know about save per se, but I do like I completely agree with what you say, like in the sense of you come to the rink and everything's left outside. You just there, you put your skates on, you go and you do what you want to do. You enjoy the music, you enjoy the flow. Sometimes you skate fast, sometimes you skate a bit slower, sometimes you skate with a bunch of people. It all depends. And sometimes some nights we've sat in the snack bar and spent most of our time there just watching and talking with people. Like some nights turn out to be more social and some nights turn out to be more skating.
Yeah.
There's usually a balance, but some nights it goes heavy on either one, and it's all good. Like because Don will say, well, we didn't skate too much tonight, and I'm like, well, we talked to a lot of people, and that's just the way it worked out. And did you have a good time? Yeah. Well, there you go. So
yeah,
like we, like everyone, we struggled through COVID as well, but we were very, very lucky that when the weather got better, we were able to skate out here at Hamilton Pier 8. And so at least we were able to get out and do stuff, and people would come down with their lawn chairs and just watch. It was pretty interesting. It's like I feel like we're putting on a show here. Like what's going on? Like there'd be like well over like 100 or 150 people just watching in their lawn chairs and stuff. It was quite interesting. And then when scooters opened up again, it's like, yeah, this is great. And yeah, it was just like,
Mhm.
finally we can go back.
Yeah.
Right? And it just, when we stepped back in there, it felt so familiar, and it just felt so good to be back there.
It's like
When
home.
like home. Yes,
Home.
exactly. Yeah.
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 Oh, that's amazing. How about for you, Dawn? How did it feel? Like even as a young woman, like when you're talking about, being 18 and going with your friend and falling on your butt, like what was sort of happening for you even back then that kept you coming back? Was there a feeling or was this,
It's hard to describe. It's like you put those skates on even when they're rentals and they hurt your feet. And you put them on and you go out there and it's like freedom.
yes.
You move and there's freedom until you
Yeah.
fall. But
Yeah.
now I don't fall
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've got the knowledge not to do that. But
Yeah.
it is a sense of freedom, and I find that when I'm out there at scooters and I'm zinging around to a good song, it's just the feel of the air going past your hair and your face, and it's really
Yeah.
neat. It's just
Yeah.
uplifting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that with COVID, it sort of it brought everybody to a standstill. And I think it's so interesting how a lot of, people our age, like in that 50 plus, we're moving ahead in this last, half of our life with intention and to find joyful moments and
Mhm.
and have that freedom feeling. It's when I interviewed Mike, I was saying to him, like coming back to scooters, I have the same feeling as when I was a kid and I got on my bicycle and I took off till the street lights came on,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So I have some questions for you guys that have been submitted.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. So they're actually from Melanie. She's got some great questions. So she wondered, for a skater who's learned the basics, what tips or tricks would you suggest to get better and enhance their skills? Is there anything
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say
That you
this
would recommend?
as Dave the coach, but so because
Yeah.
I coached 5 years on roller and 7 years on ice, and I've said this to
Yeah.
all my students on both roller and ice. Bend your knees, and no matter how much you're bending them, bend them 100% more. Shoulders over hips, over feet, because if your shoulders are past your hips, you're going to be bent over, and you could do a face plant. You want to bend your knees so you have your shoulders over your hips. If you have bent knees, then you'll have stability and you'll be able to get power and agility from that.
Okay, that's great. I'm taking lessons now with
Mhm.
Keith, who is one of your fellow competitor.
Well, so
Now, yeah.
the very last year I competed,
Yeah.
I my very last nationals, I borrowed an outfit from Keith. That that's how far we go back. That's how far we go back.
Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
so great.
yeah,
Yeah, and so now we're at a point in the lesson where we're learning slalom like through the
yeah,
cones. So you
yes,
got to
yeah.
keep your feet together and go. And he keeps saying to me, Monica, it's not a twist because I keep doing this, right? But finding that power in your legs, like without using your upper body, is just I can't wait until I find it because
That's where the
I keep
benefit.
thinking I need speed, and he's made a comment. He said, "Oh, we're gonna get this girl some fishnets and sign her up for roller derby." And I was like,
Oh geez.
because I was doing too much speed, and then I was losing the grace of
Yeah.
the actual.
Well, that's
Yeah,
it's all like Dawn was saying. It's all in the knees there, right? If you bend your knees
yeah,
more, you shouldn't have to twist your upper body to make yourself go somewhere. You can line up your upper body and make sure you're right going into it. But if you have to twist it to make yourself do a turn,
yeah,
that's not cool. You should
yeah.
be using your legs more for that, because that's where the turning and the balance, that's where it all comes from, right? So
Right.
you'll
Okay.
need deeper knees.
Okay. Well, this week, unfortunately, I can't do the lesson. So, Dawn, when I get there around 8:30, I'll come get you, and
Okay.
we can bend our knees together.
Okay. It's a deal.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds amazing. All right. So the next question is, in all of your years of roller skating, either competitively or leisure skating, what is your most memorable and favorite experience? We'll start with Dave.
Oh, well, there are a lot. Um, Not many people know this, but roller skating was in the opening ceremonies of Skydome back in 1989, and Keith was there. So was I. Glass Tiger was playing on a stage, and there was 200 of us roller skating around while Glass Tiger was playing. So I was part of a chorus. That's fine, but I got to skate in front of 50,000 people. Right. So that was actually quite interesting to look up and see. I was like, oh my God, there's all these people there. You know, like that was quite something. Um, I was invited a few years after that to go to Barcelona to do a roller skating demonstration, and it just happened to be while the Olympics were on. And it was with a girl that was from Barcelona but had been in Canada for a couple of years, and we were supposed to perform together. Well, the show ended up not happening. I'm not sure why, but there was a skating camp going on where all the top coaches in Spain were at this camp, and all these skaters from Spain came over to take from these coaches for this 10-day camp. And somehow they found out a dance coach was over from Canada. They sought me out, and I ended up teaching roller dance to 60 Spanish competitors who didn't speak English for once a night for 3 nights. Like that's how long I was there. And that was interesting. And you learn. The first night was rough. The second night was better. I learned how to communicate with them a little bit more through a lot of hand signals and this and that. And they learned how to communicate with me. And the third night, everything started to go. So I had to learn how to communicate with people who didn't speak English, but we were all skating, and they all understood what I wanted. By the third night, we'd figured out a way to do this. And that was actually quite something. That was quite an experience. I was very, very, very fortunate to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. The Sky Dome thing, was that recorded? Can we see you on the?
Yeah. And the reason I'm like this is because our
Yeah.
outfits were, and I'm going to use this word,
Yeah.
hideous. They were hideous. Oh my God.
What did you have to wear? What was the outfit?
You know,
It was some one piece thing.
no, it was a two-piece.
Oh, okay.
You know, I can't even describe it. It was so bad. I'll show you pictures when I see you on Thursday. But it was.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, describe the worst outfit you've ever had to wear in ice or roller.
Oh my God. Well, for me it was a Skydome one. That's for sure.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your favorite outfit, Dave? Do you like doing the tails and the?
Yeah, I like okay. I'm more of a classic dance type of person.
Okay.
I like the tuxedo and tails thing. I really do. Like for me, I'm very comfortable in that. I've always liked that look, that Fred Astaire kind of look.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
It's gorgeous too because it follows the flow of the movement, like the tails. Yeah.
I was just lucky that Keith and I at that time were the same size, that he was able to loan me that outfit. That was great because he was competing as well at that time. He was skating senior dance with his partner Sally at the time. So he had different outfits, but he said, "Oh yeah, I can loan you this one, no problem." And I was just like,
great.
I fit good.
Oh, that's great. So, Dawn, how about you? I'll repeat the question. So in all of your years of roller skating, either in competition or leisure, what is your most memorable or favorite experience?
Well, the most memorable is when I went to nationals. It was my first time on an airplane, and I went to Calgary, and you get to meet all these people from all the other clubs that you didn't talk to or you don't know. So that was a very neat experience to partake in that. And you skate around with your club and you go around the rink and you all have your club uniforms on, and then you get together at the hotels and you talk to each other and you share experiences, and that was a neat thing.
And Keith was there.
Oh yeah, Keith was there. Of course, I met Keith in 1979.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you guys had this common person, but you didn't know each other yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met Keith a few years earlier than that, but just at a Saturday afternoon at the terrace kind of thing, like nothing to do with competitive skating. He was there, I was there, and
Keith was in the same club as I was. And
yeah. How nice that whole community, like feeling, and yeah, it's so great. So Dawn, what about outfits for you? I'm curious. Best and worst.
Okay, my worst one has to be a maroon one with all of this glitter all around here.
Yeah.
And my best one has to be one that I wear at ice skating. It's very elegant. It's all black, and the top is all like jeweled black, and the skirt is flowy, but on one side it's cut up.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and I really like that one.
Do you guys still ice skate together? Like, do you do that?
Since COVID, we haven't really like we've been working on stuff. I've been, because I'm a former coach, so she gets to work with me all the time. But like Dawn made it through a lot of tests in a very short amount of time. A lot of stuff, some stuff crosses over and some stuff doesn't from roller to ice. But one thing I can take her up to speed on ice, and she doesn't flinch because she's used to the speed on roller.
Right.
But I can't take someone that's 50 plus, teach them how to ice skate and have them go at any kind of speed, because they get what us coaches term the claw. They'll hang on to you for dear life because they're not used to the speed. Whereas Dawn, I've had her up, like warp 8. Like I've been able to fly with her on ice, and she's out there, she's smiling, she's got her arm going.
God.
Not a problem. And that's very unusual for someone at that age who is fairly new to ice. It's very, very unusual. Yeah.
Amazing. And Dawn, you have the most beautiful posture.
Oh.
Really. Yeah, it's amazing.
That was totally ground into me, years ago by some coach.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's inspiring because, when I look at you guys and you've got that posture and and you see the confidence, and it helps because we're skating and maybe wobbling around, and then, it's just a matter of looking over to you. Okay, I should stand a little straighter, or,
well,
do the.
It's using your core, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there was something, Dave, you said to me last week. You had pointed out a couple of guys on the rink, and you said, I've been skating with these guys since I was young, and they still inspire me now. How are they inspiring you now after all these years?
They're still better than I am. So, because one of them for sure, Noel, I skated with when I was 15 at Scarborough Roller Palace, and then I didn't see him for a while. Then we skated at Rollerworks in Mississauga when that was a thing. That was in the 90s. Then I haven't seen him for a number of years until he started coming back a couple of years ago, and he was skating, and I've still skated all the way through. And I think he's been off for a while. He comes back, he's still better than I am. Like there's a number of little things that he does that I just either I don't do or I can't do. But he inspires me to be a better skater. He does. And there's and Dino from Buffalo, I started skating with on the marathons when I was before high school. And he, and we've skated together at times throughout the years, and his style's a little bit different because Buffalo had a bit of a different style. I love it. It's very good. It's very flowing, and I try to do it, but I can't quite do what he does. even though I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, I can't quite do it the same way. It's similar, but no, he just does it better.
Yeah.
So, but it inspires me to keep trying, you know,
Yes.
and with Dawn, and like she's constantly on me to learn new stuff. Like she
Yeah.
wants to learn more and more. I want more, right? So at the pier last summer, I said,
Mhm.
okay, you want something? Here's a challenge. And I showed her a dance. The dance is called Paso Doble. On roller, it's a gold level dance. On ice, it's a senior silver. It's it's kind of out of Dawn's pay grade. But I thought, you know what? Let's just see what you can do with this. And I showed her the dance. It took a little while, and she can actually do it. Like
Of course she can.
okay, yeah. But think about this, right? Like she's in her mid 60s now, and she's learning a Paso Doble. It's a very quick, very fast dance, but
Wow.
she can do it. You know, like we still need to work on it more, but she's really got the gist of it. It's like, oh yeah, I can work with this. This is great. And if we get on ice and get our feet back under us on ice, she's gonna fly with this. Like I'm telling you, she's gonna
Wow.
fly. But she's constantly wanting to learn more and more and more and more.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dawn, I love this. This is so empowering from, the perspective of any woman, men and women, of course, but like as a woman hearing this, you're in your mid 60s now, you still want to learn, you're still excited about it. I think there are so many women who will hopefully watch this talk show, and even from the little Let's Roll group that I created in Facebook, there are a lot of roller curious women out there, and I'm getting so many messages where it's like, I did this when I was 14, I don't want to break any bones, I don't want, and I'm telling them, you got to come out for a lesson.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the wonderful thing too is that, I mean, I was in this space in my life too where work was so busy, family life is stressful, aging parents, a parent passing away, a lot of heartache, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of things in life that I was not mentally prepared for. I don't think anybody is,
No.
right? And so I would do my day's work and I would go home and I would crack open a bottle of wine and I'd have one glass and then I'd have another, and that was my escape. It
Yeah.
was I'm going to dial it down and I'm going to feel better now. And it's only become since COVID and gaining 20 pounds and feeling like absolute hell that I said, maybe I should relook at roller skating and put the bottle of wine away. And that's helped me and it's healed me. And I just want to say, I'm so grateful for the two of you out there doing this and being excited about it and always wanting to learn more. You're like two curious children, and it's wonderful, it's refreshing, and it's empowering because this is the message I think we want to tell men and women. Like the 14-year-old inside of you is still there
Okay.
and they can come out and play.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
not too late. And even if you haven't skated since then, it is not too late. Even if you've never skated, it's not too late. And yeah, so that's why I'd love to post, a video of the two of you waltzing just to show people like this is in the realm of possibility. Like you might not be as good as Dave and Dawn, but you can get out there and move
Yeah.
You know what? You don't have to be.
No.
Yeah.
The session waltz is not a competition. Just go out there and enjoy yourself. Let yourself enjoy the flow, the movement, and enjoy the song, and just enjoy being out there. You don't have to be as good as us. Like that's
Yeah.
not a fair comparison because we've also been skating together since 2010. So
Yeah.
we've obviously gelled as a team, right? And both former competitors. So I just want people to go out there and enjoy themselves, and just
Yeah.
roll with it.
Yeah. Bring your protective equipment, your wrist guards.
Yes.
Yes, the wrist guards. That's right. Mary Jane said that if there's one thing to wear, wrist guards.
Wrist guards.
Yeah. It's so good. So we've had some people chime in here.
Okay.
I wanted to just I'm going back to the beginning here. So I think it was Debbie who said she's got the popcorn out when we first started.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was Rob, Skater Rob
Oh,
said
Rob.
he's got his popcorn out. And he also said the famous sofa. Debbie said popcorn here too. Debbie's saying the Mutual Arena, also known as the Terrace, LOL.
Yeah.
And Debbie said she's got her dress ready. That's when you were talking about waltzing, Dave. So
Oh,
you might have to take Debbie
anytime,
out in
Deb.
her dress.
Anytime.
Yeah. And then Dawn Oyster Lewis says
Yeah.
she loves waltzing with you, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like waltzing with her too, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. And Terry Upshaw said hashtag the focus should be on the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And Skater Rob is also commenting on Mary Jane's comment that they have to communicate with their camera girl MJ.
right. That's right.
And Debbie says that she wishes you would waltz to After the Lovin'. Such a good
yeah.
song.
It's an Engelbert Humperdinck song.
Yeah.
I don't know if the DJ has it. It's
Okay.
it'd be it would be a good waltz song. I used to waltz to that at Scarborough Roller Palace like all those years ago.
Nice.
So, yeah, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we can do something.
Perfect. Okay. And Skater Rob saying it looks like Dave got a haircut for today.
Oh yes.
Did you get your haircut? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Sherry Lowe Payton, beautiful watching you both skate. Mary Jane says, I have more. I think she's talking about your videos. So
Yeah,
I
she
can buy
does.
her
Yeah,
for
she
some.
does.
She does.
Yeah. And then Debbie said, at least Dave has hair and it's nice hair. These guys are so
Debbie.
funny.
She likes to run her hands through Dave's hair.
Yes, she does.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
I've known Debbie since I guess I was 15 or so, right? So
Wow.
okay.
Oh,
Well,
you guys go way back.
another thing about the rink is a number of us have known each other since we were teenagers. So it's like that familiarity is nice as well.
Yes, yeah. It's so beautiful. I love that whole community. It's amazing. Mary Jane saying these are the JBs.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's okay. That's that James Brown song I mentioned called "Doing It Till Death," and that's how that song. That's how it starts, right? They have somebody announced these are the JBs, and then it goes into the song, right?
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna have to listen to that after. Debbie says Dave loves Gimme Some too.
That's right. There's a song called "Gimme Some" by Jimmy Bohorn. Yes, I do like that as well. So does Debbie.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so great. Okay, so they're talking amongst each other here.
Yeah.
And Debbie's saying skating is a huge stress release and it's a happy place.
Mhm.
And Mary Jane says the skate floor is where all your troubles disappear.
Mhm.
And Skater Rob saying the pier will strengthen your skating. Yeah, I found
he's right,
meeting up with you guys on Friday. Oh my goodness, I could really feel the difference. But I was so inspired. I hit the back of there's a school down the street from me, and I just whipped around there on Sunday. And I really enjoyed it. So it's so good. But this has been amazing. I've loved talking to you guys and learning more and more about roller skating. And, it's the fountain of youth, I do believe.
You got to keep moving or you lose it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That is so true. Dawn, one last thing I wanted to talk to you about is what do we eat before we skate for, in excess of 3-4 hours at a time? What's the best meal?
Well, it varies for me. On Thursdays, I eat breakfast for dinner.
Perfect.
And on Sundays, I try to eat lightly, but I still get protein and vegetables. So I try and balance it that way, but I try not to overdo it because Debbie brings treats.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And how about you, Dave? Are you and Dawn are kind of eating the same thing together, or is there?
Yeah.
Or is there? Is there a big no that you would say don't eat this before skating?
Don't eat a big pasta dinner.
Okay.
like I like pasta, but I don't want to eat it before coming skating. Like that, it'll just sit there like a rock. It's not. I've had that. It's not fun. But That's about the
That-
only thing I don't do before skating.
That's good to know, because I think sometimes people think if they're going to be active for a long period of time, they should carb up, and that's not really the case. It's more about the protein and the veggies.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, oh yeah,
good.
we agree. Yeah,
Wow. Thank you guys so much for today. I'm so excited to see you on Thursday night. We've only got 2 more sleeps now
Yeah.
yeah.
till Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, it's really great, and I'm so excited to keep learning from both of you and watching you out there. And you're amazing, truly.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you, and thank
Thank
you,
you for having us.
thank you for having us. Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
so welcome. I
yeah,
could talk for hours still with you, but
yeah.
I don't want to take up your whole day. We might have to do a part 2. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just let me know. Yeah.
All right, you two, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you in the virtual green room, and I'll be right back with you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thanks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun to talk to those two, and so great to have their community tuning in live and popping in with comments and questions. Just awesome. So make sure that you go to my website, glamjewels, GLAMJULZ.com. Check out my jewelry line, grab yourself some jewels. I'm actually this week working on a skate line. It's going to be ready this week, I promise you. So that'll be really fun. And if you're looking for some great clothes for the next season, any of you women for spring, go to brendabadome.com. She's an amazing Canadian designer, and use the coupon code Get to Know Them for 22% off of your order. I can't wait to have you back here again next week. Keep on showing the world your sparkle, and I will see you Thursday night at the roller rink. Bye for now.